Good morning, traders. It is 6:26 a.m. on the 16th of April. Today is a Thursday. Welcome to my trading journal. This is the Jigsaw Day Trader platform. These are all futures products. All the way over here on the left is the Ultra Bond. Right second to left is the 30-year. Here in the middle is the 5-year. Second to the right is the 10-year Treasury note, and then all the way over here on the right is the E-mini S&P. And in an ideal scenario, when this product sells off, these products bid up, and vice versa. This is all trading on order flow. There's no charts, there's no indicators, nothing like that. Don't really teach you how to use the software. If you want to know more information about that, I would suggest looking up, searching for Jigsaw on in YouTube. There's plenty of videos on how to use the software. There's also links in the description of the video for more information. I do reference charts throughout the day, but I don't trade on them. I only trade on what's happening actually at the inside offer, bid and ask, and all that, on the DOM, or the depth of market, or the order book, whatever term you prefer. So overnight action is pretty much kind of what's been happening this entire week. Just sideways until European Open, and then it turns into a trending market. The one thing you could see here is in the 10-year, they definitely put up a roadblock here at 10 even. You have 25,000 printed, and then only 8 above that. And that's a beautiful thing about the 10 years. You see this all the time, especially lately, where they just put their foot down, put up a brick wall, and they just say, we're not letting you go any farther. You could see, I'll kind of bring a chart over, you could see what that looks like. Right here, they just kind of bid up. Trend day, pretty much a trend all the way up. Even came up here, hit the brick wall a couple times, went back to support, bid back up again, hit it, keep slamming against it, nothing happens. And they have no choice but to just sell the sucker down. So it's beautiful. I love to see that. Definitely seller absorption. So that's kind of what happened in the overnight. We had the data come out at 5:30. Kind of review the economic calendar at this point. We had housing starts come out at 5:30 as well, which were a slight miss. That's always a delayed number in a situation like we're in now. Housing starts will, you'll see an impact later on down the line. We had jobless claims come out. They were expected. Pulling it up now, consensus was 6 million, and we came in, we beat consensus, so it was only 5.2, which is lower than the prior revised, which was 6.6. So as you can see, we just had cash open here at 6:30. Just kind of keep going through while we let the volatility kind of subside. We also had the Fed business outlook. Consensus was -30, and we came in at -56 and change. So that's a big miss. As far as the calendar, we have, what else do we have today? 4-week bill auction, 8-week bill auction. We had Fed balance sheet at 1:30, but market will be closed by then, so that's not a mover. We have Bostic speaking at 8 a.m. I don't know if he's a mover either, but we'll see. So that's all on the calendar. Tomorrow there's pretty much nothing. As far as getting back kind of to the overnight range, in a relative sense, it was pretty mild. Here's the low, here's the high. Overnight high was right here, right above, just one tick above that roadblock they put up. It's a corresponding swing high and yesterday's high, all right in this little region right here. And kind of show you what that looks like on a chart as well. This is 60-minute chart, as you can kind of see, it's just sort of been selling off right at this region here for a long time. Several attempts throughout several days, and we're right up against it now, so I'm kind of expecting that. I'm curious to see what happens, if I'm expecting it to hold. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's held thus far, but every time you get a test of a big area like that, it's obviously, it gives another opportunity for it to fail. So we'll see what happens. But it's held since pretty much the entire month of April on multiple attempts. But if we do pop through it, it could be pretty, you could see a lot of stop losses and everything above that, so you could see a nice little rip going higher. So if you do short it, make sure you have a stop up there somewhere, because that thing could rip in your face. Not that it matters, because you will be seeing this in a delayed time. So I'm just hoping, I'm sending it out of the universe, and hopefully you pick up the vibe out there. So as far as areas of interest, obviously the overnight high, overnight low. If we do get some sort of a turn, obviously comes down. If we drop back into 6.5, 6 in this area, that's where the support is. Kind of maybe look at that for a continuation higher, but we'll see. On a personal note, I've been trading pretty much this whole week and doing really well. The 10-year's been incredibly accommodating. Very easy to read order flow. Just bids and offers stacking up and attacking. It's very cool to see. Not a lot of back and forth. 10-year's been taking out the offer and then immediately attacking the higher, and then taking out the offer and immediately attacking higher. So it's easy just to jump in mid-profile and just kind of hold on and watch it just stack up and just plow higher, and then it'll stop, it'll rest, and then it'll turn around and do the same thing back down, and then it'll stop, and then it'll do the same thing back up. So it's just, you just wait for all these products to start kind of attacking at the same time, which it looks like this morning they're doing the same thing. Prior to that, and even sometimes during the day, you can see how the bonds will start trading together, and then independent of the treasuries, and the treasuries will, they'll sit up here and do nothing, and the bonds will sell off 10, 12 ticks all the way down, and the treasuries will still just sit up here, and vice versa. So there's been some disconnect between those two, and then obviously they're not always trading in this environment where you're just buying everything or selling everything. They're just not trading all the time in the inverse correlation with the ES. So that makes it a little bit difficult, but I'm kind of ignoring the ES and just focusing on what's happening here. Really, using the Ultra Bond as a leading indicator for the 30-year, and the 5-year as a leading indicator for the 10-year. Speaking of which, the 5-year has popped through. The overnight high was way down here. The 5-year popped through that, came back down, and has been bidding up higher ever since. So that kind of gives me pause on trying to trade this this profile step here. Although we did have one start to develop there in the 5-year, but it looks like they're kind of pushing through it now. So we'll see what happens. But this first 10 to 15 minutes of the cash open is a really good excuse. It's a really good opportunity for buyers or sellers to push through kind of levels like this, where they'd spend all morning kind of defending this area, and then all of a sudden you have this added volatility of the market open, and it'll just plow right through it. And it could come back, but it's just kind of an opportunity to change things a little bit. So that's why I sort of refrain from trading in the first 10 minutes or so of cash open. With all that said, we are at the overnight high for the 30-year and the Ultra Bond. I haven't been posting any videos because I keep forgetting to turn the recorder back on, or I keep forgetting to turn the microphone back on, or I'll just let it run sometimes, and I get like a 3-hour video, and it crashes my editing software when I try to put it in. It just won't accept it. It's just too big of a file. So today I have a little sticky note here, and every time I pause it, I'm going to stick this on the screen. That just reminds me to just start it back up. I really don't have a choice in the matter, to be honest. I can't just let it run. Or I guess I could upgrade my editing software if that really is the case, because it is a free version of some basic thing. So I don't really feel like investing any money in it, though, to be honest. It's not that important to me. So that's the plan. It's the plan to get more videos up. Just have something that's even presentable at this point. This 10-year still holding that level. I'm waiting for a little bit more time to go by. Another 5 minutes or so, and then we could see. Or if we just get massive selling across the board. You just see these products just start to get slammed. That looked like enough for me. ES turned up higher. It's kind of what everybody's waiting for, I think. Okay, we got filled. As long as the 10-year holds this level, I feel okay. I'm not going to go anywhere. Probably could have been a little bit more judicious with my entry. Obviously, I like to see the Ultra Bond hold like 3 or 2. The 10-year, or excuse me, the 30-year is something I like to sell above the previous high and then buy it below the previous low, because it'll always pop through by a few ticks and then drop right back in. You see that all the time on the charts. So I might have been a little early, a little too aggressive on this entry. Like I said, as long as the 10-year continues to hold, that might have been the play actually, is trying to sell that profile stuff, because it looks like it's going to hold at this point. Ultra Bond selling down. Like I said, that's going to be my leader. Keeping an eye on that guy. Definitely see how the Ultra Bond at 30 are responding to the ES. As soon as the ES pauses, starts to fall in, you see the bid pump up. So because I paid up a tick or two, I feel like if the Ultra Bond starts to pump up, starts to get back up into 27, 26, then I will try to just pull a tick out of this or two. The ES is falling in and they still haven't started bidding up yet. Here it comes. Ultra Bond's still kind of pushing the lows of the move. That's good. See, that's exactly what you want to see, that whole move down. These guys held, didn't even back tick, barely. And as soon as the ES started pushing higher, fell in one more tick. That's when you know that you're on the right side of this thing. Got to get this bid to fall away. This thing can come right up in your face really quickly, so you got to be very quick with your exits. Like I said, I'm keying in on the Ultra Bond. Don't want to get caught up in the ebb and flow of the market, though. Got to give it a little bit of space. Shit, I'm 8 in the queue. Let's see if I get filled. Saw the Ultra Bond start to tick back up, and I knew that this was going to happen. Okay, so I got filled. That's one tick. If I was in at 13 or 14, I'd probably might let that go a little bit longer, but not the best entry. So we'll see what happens if it gets back up here. Maybe we'll sell it back down. Okay, time for the sticky. I'm gonna pause everything. I'll be back. Okay, back here at 6:53 a.m. And I walk away for 10 minutes, and what the fuck? Looks like we actually did push through the highs here in the Ultra Bond, in all the bonds actually, and 5-year and the 10-year looks like it went bid at 10.5 and then got slammed back down. So they're still defending that profile step, kind of out of that initial volatility range of the first 15 minutes or so. Cash open, a lot of weakness in the ES. Pushed higher on that on the jobs data, and then tried to push a little bit higher at cash open, and it's just been kind of slumping down ever since, making new low after new low, and I think that's what caused this thing to push through the highs. Missed a great selling opportunity up here in the 30-year. Looks like this right here, this little volume node that it started to develop was probably enough for me to jump in and try to sell this thing back down. It's kind of a bummer. But that's okay. There'll be more opportunities. The day is young. So anyway, we're looking for another push higher in the 30-year, obviously another push higher in the 10-year, and we'll kind of go from there. But I'll be back. We're back up here to this profile step in the 30-year. It's 6:58 a.m. Continued weakness in the ES, just continues to sell down, sell down. The ES will turn eventually. It always does, and that could be an excuse for this to sell back down. It looks like they are kind of responding. ES is stalled here at 66.50. It's starting to develop a little bit of volume. You could see the bonds are starting to sell. Excuse me, sell down a little bit. But until it really does kind of push back, excuse me, I'm talking about the ES here, until it does actually start to pop and you get an impulse move higher, it's just going to put too much pressure, I think, on what's happening over here. As I say that, they start to sell down. I think I need to stop talking and just kind of pay attention to what's going on here. My big concern is the 10-year really hasn't got below 8.5. You know, it's still pushing down, but you could see this little, 5-6 tick range that we've been in for the last hour or so. It's going to pop one way or the other, for sure. And my guess, I think, if I had to guess right now, if I was a betting man, I would say that they are going to push this thing higher for the morning and then let it fall back in about an hour or so. That's what's pretty typical of what's been happening lately. So these products all get bid up. It's a nice little short squeeze, and then they'll fall back in throughout the rest of the day if you look at a chart. And it's pretty much been the pattern. Definitely got like a little pressure cooker going on here, so this thing's going to pop one way or the other. Could fall in pretty dramatically, or it could just blow through the highs. I'm guessing we get up through the highs eventually. I'm not really a breakout trader. I don't think I've ever taken a breakout trade, to be honest. Buying the high of something is just, it's a little too unnerving for me. I'd rather stick needles in my eyes. Definitely interested in a fade at some point. I got some decent size on the offer. I got 1800 here, 1800, obviously 2700 up here at 16. This is exactly what happened yesterday. They just squeezed this all the way higher and then fell in hard. So we're just looking for sellers to really step up across all products. You'll see it when it happens. That's why I like to keep everything clean. I think it's okay to even pay up a tick or two, because when it does fall in, it's going to fall in pretty well. ES, it looks like it's been selling down, like just kind of getting hammering the bid, but it's basically trading right out where it was yesterday, so it doesn't, it's all just kind of in a range. It just feels a little bit early for the turnaround. And I feel like you got this level here. You might as well push it up and see what you can get up there. in my mind. So I'm going to pull that order and just kind of wait and see what happens. $14,000 printed here at 11.5. They tried to sell it down. They couldn't quite do it. Looks like buyers stepped up and just soaked it all up. You know, it's funny, I sit here and do all this talking and everything, and then when I do my final edit, before I post it, I just cut all this shit out. So I don't even know. I guess I'm just talking to myself at this point, but. So they're holding this level pretty well. We get the ES bidding up pretty well. This might be where it's going to fall back in. I don't know if I'll get filled here at with 1200 on offer. Market definitely seems like it's just waiting for something. From an order flow perspective, you could see, at least what I'm seeing right now, is as soon as the ES starts to fall in, you could see it only fell in maybe 4 handles or so. Just this, all these products start bidding up. So that's not really something I want to get in the way of. Although the continuing strength in the ES is going to put a stop to that, I think. Five-year still pushing highs. Just went bid at 21. Just haven't seen that kind of collective slamming, attacking the bid across all these products that I like to see. Don't like that they're just absorbing all the selling at 11.5. Kind of want to let this situation here resolve itself, because you see this all the time. Yeah, I'm going to be a little conservative today, just because you see this all the time where normally this would have sold down already with this profile step developing, but they're just soaking up all the, they're buying this at this level. So just these, when you see volume kind of start to print at 2 levels like this, it's unnatural. It's like just buying and selling. People developing positions, not really letting one side take control over the other. And that's usually, in my mind, continuation, if I recall. Either way, I'd like to see this fall in, at least down to 10, and then come back up, and then it's an easier sell down. I mean, we haven't even come back to, looking at the bonds, just glancing at a chart real quick, we haven't sold back down to support at all. So it's kind of still a bid on environment. Bonds are having a little bit of a tougher time. 5-year still pushing the highs. The ES is about 20 handles off the lows, and these guys do not give a shit. Do not care. Still bidding up. So that inverse correlation is definitely broken today, at least thus far. Like I said, it really hasn't been working. Hasn't been working lately, at least from what I can tell. So basically the treasuries are just dragging the bonds higher. Man, it's turned into a long video. I think I'm going to pause it just so that it'll make it into the editing software. Okay, we're back, 7:45. Finally got that impulse that I was waiting for in the ES, and it caused all these products to sell in several ticks. Pretty aggressive selling. So that's kind of what I wanted to see. Now I want to see everything kind of creep back up and then get slammed back down again, and then we'll just sort of spend the rest of the day filling out this profile. So waiting for that at this point to kind of come back up. Tried to jump into but this is this would be support on a pullback. Obviously, it's pretty obvious. If you had a bunch of people that sold there at one point, they might be trying to work out of a trade. So it could be people covering that pushes this thing higher. You can see right now a pretty decent size number on the bid. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. That's what we're waiting for. Could get the bonds to pop back up and sell those back down. Or it could just fall all the way in, like it has been, which would kind of suck if we don't get a second chance selling opportunity at the highs here. But it is about that time. It's 7:47. It's time for the unwinding, for the proverbial turn of the day. But really, that's the only thing I have shaping up right now is selling 21 or 20 in the 30-year or 12.5, 12 in the 10-year. So until we get up there, I'm just going to hang out. Okay, back here, 8:17 a.m. I forgot to put the little sticky on the screen, so that didn't work. But what happened is we had sell down from the highs fairly aggressively, and then everything kind of paused here. There's a profile step at 7 in the 30-year, and then also a profile step here at 75 or 7.5, excuse me, in the 10-year. And prices have been stalled here, kind of trading back and forth for quite a while. So I went ahead and took a shot at 8 in the 30-year, trying to get this thing to push back up towards a point of control. You can see the ultra bonds start to take off. That's good. I'm still waiting for the 10-year to get its shit together. Let's see, I'll go ahead and level this all out here. I can move. Yeah, I can't let this thing snap back on me like that, so gotta be very, very careful. Gotta be careful. As soon as this thing kind of stalls out like it is right now, I might want to look at start to exit strategy. Not going to fuck around with that. I'll take 3 ticks out of it, which just looks like it's a good call because it just snapped right back in my face. If it falls back in, then I might be able to buy it up again. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Definitely need 10-year to hold 7. Doesn't look like it's going to. Looks like it's going to sell back through. Yeah, we never quite got back up to the highs in the 10-year. It just sort of lingered around, right around support. Couldn't get up there, and then it just got slammed. I'll go ahead and let this run, take my chances with the file size. But it looks like we got some buying. We got some buying stepping up in the 30-year at this level again, 786. Ten-year is about 3 ticks up off of that initial low at 6.5. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get filled here at 8. See if the buyers just keep that pressure going higher. About a 4-tick risk. It's a little bit beyond my comfort zone, but this is just sort of the price action we've seen lately, where one side's in charge for a while, then the other side takes over, starts pushing it, basically just starts pushing it back and forth. Fuck, as soon as I say that, the bid just fucking falls away. So basically we're just looking at basically 3 ticks, maybe 4. Yeah, not good. Probably could have been a little bit more patient with this thing. If I was going to buy it, I could let it fall in back down to 7. I think we're going to need to see the ES fall in, though, in order for this thing to get back up into the highs and start filling out this profile. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Looks like the ES is just in a frenzy. Lots of FOMO going on. $27.50 has been kind of the key number last couple days. It seems like during normal trading hours, and even after hours, it just kind of gets bid up, sold back down, bid up, sold back down. Man, I completely misread this because buyers just evaporated altogether. A little bit of recency bias in my head, I think, based on the price action the last couple of days. I'm carrying that over for some reason instead of just trading what I see. Buyers are trying to push it back, but it's just not that like a sustained aggression that you really like to see. And thus far, the offers haven't pulled off once they start smacking up into them. Like I said, it's been okay to pay up the last few days. Doesn't mean that that's okay today. I guess we'll find out. I think once you're in a trade, I always try to remember my basis for entry. Even though you're in the trade, you kind of got to ask yourself, would I take this trade again if I wasn't in the trade? So would I buy 7.5 right now if I wasn't in this trade already? Definitely a different day than yesterday. Yesterday was much easier read. Players have definitely showed their hand. All right, looks like we got stopped out. It's all right. It's worth a shot, I guess. At least I have clean teeth now. I don't know where really to go from here. Don't know where really an area of interest would be. This is a level of like overnight support here, but I don't. A little gun shy about betting against the house at this point. Looks like the pressure's on the sell side. So we'll go ahead and pause, or I'll pause the video, but this might be it for me today. Pushing 9 o'clock. Staying here for so long, so I might be back, might not, we'll see.